What's the biggest mistake roofing contractors make with their marketing? It's not the budget or the tactics or the tools. It's failing to execute on a clear plan. Today, we're tackling how to fix that once and for all. In today's episode, we're diving deep into what it really takes to create a winning marketing strategy for your roofing business, from setting realistic revenue goals to mastering omnipresence. We're uncovering the secrets to scaling effectively in 2025 and beyond. What I've learned from working with hundreds of contractors is that success isn't about chasing shiny objects or finding a magic lead source. It's about building a solid foundation, executing with consistency. I've been in the trenches helping businesses overcome challenges like mismanaged budgets and unclear goals, and I'm excited to share what's worked for them and how it can work for you too. In this episode, I'll walk you through how to set up achievable goals, build a marketing stack that works, and execute like a pro. Let's make 2025 the year that you take your roofing business to the next level. So stick around and let's get started. Welcome to the Roofing Success Podcast. I'm Jim Ahlin, and I'm here to bring you insights from top leaders in the roofing industry to help you grow and scale your roofing business. If you don't mind, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about setting goals, hitting your targets. We're going to talk about the fundamentals of marketing success. We're going to talk about, maybe we'll get into some optimization techniques, some customer journey optimization, some website optimization, wherever it goes here. We want to talk about the channels of marketing that that are really the main drivers of a lot of success in roofing. Some latest trends to focus on, and hopefully help you develop an action plan, because it's really in the execution of your business where success comes from. It doesn't matter how much you learn, how much you listen to the podcast. If you're not executing on what we're talking about on the show, it really doesn't matter. So I get asked a lot, kind of the hardest part about marketing your roofing company, right? And take some time to think about that. If you're a sales rep, think about, marketing yourself as an individual. Or from your company standpoint, what's the biggest challenge that they're facing? And what I hear a lot is that there's so many options, right? If you want to market your roofing business, there are so many options out there. Are we doing digital? What's the best lead source? I get that all the time. What's the best lead source? What's the best? Man, there is no magic pill, right? There is no magic pill in this. There's no magic pill in marketing. There's no magic pill in your business. It's a lot of good testing and optimization. And, we talked about that in a previous episode and went through some KPIs that you can measure, and, the concept of omnipresence. And really that's where it lies, right? The choices that you have, all of your digital assets that you can work on. You have your SEO, you have your Google ads, you have your website, you have your Google business profile. You have your social media, you have paid social media, you have organic social media, you have Google local services ads. You could be buying leads from all of the big lead aggregators, Home Advisor, and Porch and Networks and all these places. I've seen some people having some success with Nextdoor ads now, right? So there's all these choices out there, and we're gonna dive in and kind of talk about this. And on a previous episode, I mentioned it. I really like to attribute this to the marketing stack, right? You want to be building your marketing stack, not just executing on one marketing tactic. So the marketing strategy is to build a marketing stack. The tactics that you use to do that will vary based on, the type of business that you're in. If you're a storm versus retail, commercial versus residential, right? There's going to be different things, but But this is the problems that I always see people facing is that another problem that I always see people facing is that there's such a major investment in marketing, or they feel like they're making a major investment in marketing. A contractor who I would say I've become friends with down in the DFW. I remember one time I had him on a coaching call in the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, and we were talking about budgets, and they were like, "Man, I can't believe that I spent that much this year." And I was like, "Well, what'd you spend?" And they're like, I can't remember, $150,000, $175,000. Boy, that's a big chunk of cash, right? But on the other side of that, they did over $5 million in revenue. So really, they were investing like 3% of their budget into their marketing efforts. Now, that might work in a storm restoration market, right? Like, we have to learn what works for us. We have to learn kind of the best practices. You'll hear a lot of people in the industry talk about the 5% rule, 5% of your gross revenue goal as being that sweet spot. Well, man, if you're in a competitive retail market and you're spending 5%, you might be having some challenges, right? If you are a 100% door-to-door sales organization, you don't need to be, 5% might be too much for you, right? So that's why industry averages and standards are kind of unique, but we'll get into that a little bit more. We'll talk about budgeting today a little bit more. I know a lot of you have done marketing and there hasn't been much to show for it, right? There hasn't been that return that you expected. You talk to someone or you talk to a marketing agency, because we're the worst, right? I don't own one anymore, so I could say that. But you see these examples of success, and you see that, man, someone did Facebook ads and they got, $19 leads and they crushed it. Well, yeah, but what'd they close, right? Like, what did they close? What's the net? What did they gross off of that? You see, oh man, this company's crushing it with SEO. They're everywhere. Yeah, that's great, right? Or you see maybe another company that's crushing it with TV ads or billboards or Nextdoor. And we get chasing these shiny objects, but when we try it, it doesn't work. Like, what happened there? How come it didn't work for me, but it worked for that person? Was it the person I hired to do it? Was it the execution of it? Did we answer our phone properly? Right? I've told this story multiple times, and Chuck Tokey's told it on the podcast too. But when he was the vice president of sales at Able Roof Mr. Roof, he talked about the process that they had in answering the phone when it was a home advisor lead, and how long they would try to keep that person on the call, right? That's where the efficiency comes in your customer journey, right? Not all of your marketing, sometimes it's not the channel, it's not the mix, it's that you have to have the execution through the sales process, through the appointment set, through the sales process. If you have a team of door knockers, you have a team of door-to-door salespeople, and you start sending them Facebook leads, and now they're in a neighborhood knocking a storm, and I live in the Twin Cities area. Maybe they're up in Plymouth knocking a storm in the northwest suburbs, and you get a Facebook lead down in Eagan in the southeast suburbs, and they have to drive 50 minutes to go and run that lead. Or they could knock on the next door. What do you think they're going to do, right? So there's a lot of complexity in the outcomes of our marketing efforts, right? And so it's always a continuous iteration. It's examining what our expectations were, then examining what happened, and then making adjustments. But it's a challenge. So with that, it really becomes challenging, right? That's where the challenge is. Am I doing this right? I don't know about you, but as an entrepreneur, that doubt creeps in, right? That doubt creeps in all the time, that imposter syndrome. Are we really that company? Can we really execute on what we do well? Do we really have the team in place? Am I the right leader for this team? So you got to be careful in everything that you do, and in your execution of things, understanding, setting clear expectations of what you want to happen, measuring them with data. We're all going to, have our challenges. Some efforts are going to work better than others. Some efforts are not going to work at all for you. But if you don't have a clear plan and you don't have a clear way to measure that plan, you're going to fail. So we really want to have a clear plan with goals, targets, KPIs to measure with. We really want to be able to generate enough leads through the channels that you're marketing in to hit your revenue goals. Like I said, some channels may have a higher level of success than others. So we really want to set clear goals, because clear goals are the wind in your sails, right? If you're out on an ocean, or if you're out on a lake, a big lake, you're on your sailboat, if you have no wind, you will end up somewhere, right? You will hit land somewhere, right? The ocean will take you, the current will take you, and you will end up somewhere, but it may not be where you want to be. So you need to get the wind in your sails, and that's having that clear plan. I recommend at least a 1-year plan. So we're sitting here in November 2024, really looking at 2025, setting a 1-year goal, and then taking that goal and breaking it down into small chunks, right? Breaking that down into quarterly, monthly, even weekly goals, adjusting for the seasonality in your market. If you're in a storm restoration market, or if you're in Minneapolis here, it's November. The snow will be falling soon. It's going to get really cold. December, and we may be able to roof into December this year. It's looking pretty positive, actually. But going into January, I'm not expecting that, right? February, I'm not expecting it. March, maybe we're coming out of winter and we're able to get that done. If you're in Florida, and the hurricane, the time of year for hurricanes, you want to be making adjustments to your goals. But one of the key things here is having a stopping point. You need to have a stopping point with these goals. You need to be able to say, okay, this month we expected to do this. Our goal was to do this. This is what we were trying to achieve. And we did this. We were above goal, below goal. Now you can work back and make some real decisions as to why did that happen, right? So we want to make sure that we have clear goals. We want to have a revenue target. We want to have, want to work that backwards into the amount of leads that it will take. If you are a very experienced contractor, you know your numbers well, this is going to be much easier for you, right? You have it dialed in a little bit more. How many calls will that require? If you've been tracking your leads for years and your conversion rates down to your sales reps and who does what and lead source, man, you're going to have a much better opportunity to get to your goals, to within a close variant of what you're going to hit this year. If you're brand new, you're going to have to make this up, right? Like if you're new or if you've never done this exercise before in your business, you're going to have to make it up and make assumptions, right? So what is your revenue target? You're going to have to make a revenue target. Let's be realistic with these revenue targets. I used to talk to contractors all the time when I was with roofer marketers who told me, yeah, man, we did 750,000 in revenue last year, and our goal this year is 5 million. Where the heck did you get 5 million from? And why do you think 5 million is the number that you really need to hit? And do you have the team in place that can get you to 5 million? Do you have enough well-trained sales reps to get you to 5 million? Oh no, well, I sold the 715 or 750 as an owner, and I'm going to just go, hire a bunch of people off the street and hope for the best. And they'll all, maybe they'll all close 500,000 and, I'll go hire 10 reps and that'll get to 5 million. And don't have a hope and a prayer. Like, don't do this on a hope and a prayer. Do this realistically, right? Do this realistically. Think about, and if you are going to go and get aggressive and hire 10 sales reps and you've never done that before, be honest with yourself that maybe you're not, you haven't been a sales manager. Maybe you have, but maybe you haven't been a sales manager of 10 reps before. Maybe you don't understand the day-to-day and how that works and what the execution of that looks like. So making sure that you're honest with yourself about your goals, but set your goals, right? Set your goals and then work that back into the amount of leads that you need. So with the amount of leads that you need, what we're working backwards into is we're going to take the sales, right? We're going to divide that by the average job that you're getting. I'm going to make my math easy. Let's say your goal is 3 million for the year. And you're in an area that's very consistent month over month. So that's $250,000 a month. If your average job is 12,500, that would be 20 jobs per month. So not every phone call is a job, right? Not every lead that you generate. When someone calls off of that yard sign, they may not have damage, right? So not every call that you get, not every lead turns into a job. So we got to work this backwards, right? We have to work this backwards into an average conversion rate. Let's say that your average conversion rate is 25% from someone that calls in to book job, right? So maybe you 75% of the leads that come in end up in an inspection, right? You do a home visit off of 75% of that. So now you have 75 leads that you're running and you're closing 33% of those. You got 25 closed jobs, right? Or a 25% close rate, which would back into, if you need those, what did I say? If you need, the 20 jobs a month, we just back that into it, right? So that would be 80 leads a month. Right. So we back that into it and knowing your lead number is going to give you a leading indicator as to where your business is going. You have leading and lagging indicators in your business. So you want to be paying attention to these leading indicators in your business, like lead flow. If no one is booking an inspection with your company, you're going to run out of business, right? So we have to be following that lead flow from the beginning. So understanding your goal, being honest with yourself about what you can execute on, and then determining how many leads it will take you to get there. We have a clear picture of the leads that we need and the goal that we have from a revenue perspective. Maybe we've spent some time thinking about the people that we need to get to that revenue goal also, and being honest with ourselves, right? Being honest with ourselves is that we have the right people, we have the right team, we have the right, goal for that team. Now we need the lead flow, right? And we have an idea of where we're going to get the lead flow from. We're going to be, executing on this set of marketing tactics. I think what gets overlooked a lot is your marketing message. I think that the fundamentals of marketing are missing in most of your businesses, and I don't say that to be condescending but it's a very simple thing, and I want to talk to you about a very simple way of looking at marketing. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the market, and that's the who. That's the people that you are marketing to. Then I want to get into the message a little bit, and that's what you're saying to those people in hopes of that message resonating with them for them to give you a call. And then we have the how, and that's That's where this message is going out, right? Where is this message landing? Is it on your social media? Is it in a Google ad? Is it on your website? Is it on a billboard, right? How are you getting this message into your perfect customer? And so really first we have to understand our perfect customer, right? Like who really buys from us, because not everyone is your perfect customer, right? And so we have to think about that. In marketing, we call this a customer avatar or a buyer persona. There's ways to look at it in terms of, we're really determining who is this person, right? Who are we marketing to? And I would really encourage you to choose a person, like choose someone that is that person in your business, right? That you have sold a roof to. Man, if I had a whole bunch of these customers, this would be this is my ideal customer. And what you're going to want to back out of that are demographics, pains and frustrations of that customer, the fears and implications that they have of those fears, and their goals and desires. So we're gonna take some time and think about that person in your mind and say, how old are they, right? Are they male, female? Of course they're a homeowner. That's an easy demographic, right? Are they married? Do they have kids? We want to get into this understanding of this person. That what's their annual income? What are some other things about them? Are they handy or not handy? Where do they live? Do they live in the, in a more urban area? Do they live in the suburbs, small towns, right? Where do they live? What do they like to do? Do they enjoy gardening, crafts? Do they, are their kids in Little League and soccer? And, are they easily frustrated, right? Like, are they family oriented? These are some demographics that we can think about. Then we want to think about their pains and frustrations, right? One easy pain and frustration is that their roof is leaking, right? They look up on their ceiling, they see a water stain, and something's going on here. Another pain or frustration may be, that there's shingles in their yard, right? Man, what's going on here, right? Another type of pain or frustration may be that they can't get a roofing company on the phone or to return their calls. I was looking for gutters at our lake home this summer, and I started calling local gutter companies. This is a small town area in northern Minnesota, and so there's not a lot of contractors, and probably plenty of work for them. So, I'll give them a little bit of grace, but I left a message with this gutter company, and 28 days later, they called me back. You may not get that in the big city and in major markets, but that's a huge pain and frustration. And we've dealt with that, around other services that we've tried to have up there, HVAC people and, snow plowing and all kinds of stuff. And so customers face this frustration. They're not getting the phone call back. So it's an easy pain point to solve, but understanding that they are facing this frustration, right? They need to get their issue resolved. They really need to. They're too busy to deal with it. I don't know about you, but I get so busy in my day to day that I miss things. I'm like, man, oh shoot, I got to go back and do that. I got to go back and do that. Man, we need to get this done. The other thing that big pain that they're having a lot of times is that they're worried about the damage that it could cause in their property, right? The further damage that it can cause. So that's a big pain. Now that we've talked about their pain a little bit, they also have fears, and those fears and the implications of those fears, right? They have a fear of being ripped off or overcharged. They have a fear of paying too much for what they could have gotten of the same value. They have a fear of having their home damaged by faulty workmanship. They have a fear of being inconvenienced. They have a fear that, that it may cause a disaster in the house. They have a fear that the bill will be more than they can afford. And so in really understanding, these are the fears of our customers. If you're a sales rep, you know this, right? This is what you're hitting on. These are the problems that you're pushing on in your sales presentations, right? This is the stuff you're really digging into, getting them to feel that pain and understand that you're the provider, you're the solution to that pain or that fear. Then they have goals and desires, right? They have a goal to get their roof fixed, but they also, want to get the issue behind them. They want to have a well-kept home. They want to take care of their family. They want to spend more time with their family. They want to travel. They also want the respect and approval of their friends and family. They don't want to make a wrong decision. In the purchase decision-making process, there's really kind of, I've heard it framed in this way that there's three core objections, right? Three core objections. One of them is price, right? One of them is partner. They push it off on and defer the commitment to their wife or husband. But really, it comes down to not wanting to make a wrong decision. That's why they're stalling on that decision, and that's that respect and approval of friends and family. I'm telling you, it's something that people truly interpret on a subconscious level. If they make the wrong decision and their cousin's like, yeah, I told you to go with my contractor, their uncle's like, why didn't you call me? You knew that you knew I did decks. I could have done your roof, right? People want the respect of their friends, family. They want peace of mind. So really, that's what your customer is made up of. So really, really, really thinking of and identifying that customer. And now, in understanding this, there's no quote that I love, and it's, if you can see through Joe Jones' eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones buys. Right? If you understand your customer and the pains that they're feeling, the fears that they have, their goals and desires, and you have a solution to that, it's an easy thing to sell if you express it to them well, right? So now we really understand the who. Now we need to talk about our messaging. So really, in understanding those fears, in understanding their pain points, in understanding their goals, in understanding who they are as a demographic, we have to have a message to them, right? We have to define why someone would choose to do business with you versus the competition. We have to understand the benefits that you offer that your target customer will resonate, right? We're selling the vacation. We're not selling the features, right? We're selling the benefit. So we want to sell them a complete roofing system that they will never have to worry about again, right? Like, we have to sell them the vacation, sell them on the benefits of doing business with you, sell them on the benefit of if there is a problem in the future, you don't have to worry about it because we will take care of it, right? Making sure that they know that you're going to give a clear, straightforward estimate, or you're going to work with them in the insurance claims process, and you're going to give them, a great customer experience, satisfaction guaranteed. You're going to inform them about your warranties, the manufacturer's warranties, your labor warranties, your workmanship warranties. You want to express maybe that you're local to the area, that you'll be around if they need you, right? that there's affordable financing options if they need it. One of those big pain points is, can I afford it, right? They have a fear of being able to afford this, right? I think I used 12,500 as an example, earlier in the conversation, and 12,500 is a very low number these days. It does not take much to get to, a $25,000, $30,000 roof these days. And so, understanding that there's financing available, under giving them the opportunity, right? They don't want to be inconvenienced. So expressing that you'll be there the same day or the next day and have an estimate in hand or have the solution presented to them. Giving money, offering money saving offers, right? There's no one that doesn't like to save money, right? Expressing the way that you leave the job site squeaky clean, and that, there won't be any nails that their kids are going to step on when playing in the backyard. They're not going to get a flat tire driving into the driveway or driving into their garage. Expressing your experienced and proven track record. Expressing the values that you hold as a contractor, right? A lot of contractors in the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance are now, expressing how they've made this pledge to be one of the best and most, credible and incredible contractors in their area with great integrity, right? There's that you're abiding by certain standards, that you have great service, and you're guaranteeing that service, that you will take care of anything that comes up. And so now that you have that message, you know who you're talking to, and you know what resonates with them. And maybe you don't know what resonates with them, right? Maybe if you're in an earlier stage of your business, you haven't done a lot of marketing, you haven't used a lot of marketing messaging. This is where those Facebook ads, work or don't work a lot of times. And this is where marketing works and doesn't work at times. It's not magic. It's a continuous iteration. So once you have one message, you put it out to your market, right? You put that message in front of your market, in front of the who, and you see how they react to it. And then you put another message out there and you see how people react to that, and which one was better. Which message did we get that was better? This is what companies do over time, all over and over again. We call it split testing. But really getting that messaging in front of people. And so then we need to know the media, right? We need to know how we're getting this, how we're going to get this message in front of people. How are we going to deliver that message of our quality, and how we can solve the pains and how we can alleviate the fears of our customer. So in that, the how are all of those marketing channels, right? It's your website, it's your SEO, it's your Facebook, organic social media, it's your TikTok, it's your, like, all of the ways, direct mail, your trucks driving through their neighborhood, your yard signs, billboards, TV, radio. All of those are just vehicles to deliver the message, right? So I want you to understand that it's not, I'm going to do TV and it's going to solve my problem. It's television, and I'm making this up, right? Television on this specific show at this specific time of the day is when my demographic, this is how traditional advertising has been for years, this is when my demographic, my who, is in front of the television. And so this is where I get to deliver my message. That's all it is, right? That's all it is. In the digital world, it's gotten so much more, it's so much easier to deliver that message, right? If you're doing Google ads, you know that someone is typing in best roofing contractor, city, state, and you could put your message in front of that person at that exact moment when they're shopping. So digital really provides that direct, that very direct ability. More, television, radio, billboards. A lot of the people that see your billboard are not going to be your perfect customer, but you're kind of counting on a portion of them, right? Like billboards get measured in traffic per day, right? Oh, there's 100,000 cars that drive by here every day. How many of the people in those cars are your demographic? And then how many of those people in those cars that are your demographic look up at that specific time frame and get that message? And then how many times do they need to see that to really take that in? Just because they saw it once doesn't mean they're going to call you, right? So that how is so impactful. I think one of the things to make sure that you're focusing on in your how and a good place for your message is your billboard, right? Your website. That's where people are going to go to look and make a decision if they want to work with you. So that's a great place to have your messaging. And so on your website, you want to have it set up with that marketing messaging, right? So when they land on the website, you want the messaging to be speaking to your perfect customer. If your perfect customer is someone who is looking for a cheap option, and that's what you provide is a cheap option, then make sure that your website expresses that. If you are the opposite of that, and you do not provide a cheap option, you provide an extensive amount of value, make sure that your website expresses that, right? If you have great financing options, you're thinking of their fears, you're thinking of their pain points, you're thinking of all of these things. On your website, you can express that very easily. It's your domain. It's your area to express that. Then when you're doing your Facebook ads, have this in mind. When you're doing your Facebook social media posts, have this in mind. When you're doing, Nextdoor, or if you're posting in a Facebook group, or if you're, just as you're knocking doors, this is what you have in mind, right? Your door-to-door scripts touch on these things, right? They touch on the fears and implications. They touch on the pain points that the homeowner is facing. They're facing a problem with the insurance process. It sucks, right? And so we can really push on that pain point. So now, we understand how we're getting that message in front of people. Now we need to convert that lead. There's a big difference. This is where a lot of companies, I hear it all the time, and it's, unfortunately, it's smaller companies that I hear this from a lot. The leads sucked. Unfortunately, a lot of times it was you that sucked. And we have to really understand this. And I don't want to, speak poorly of people or in early stages of business people who have not learned how to implement a good process, or maybe don't have good people on their team that can execute on these good processes. But man, it's a big challenge. Like I told you, that gutter company that didn't call me back for 28 days. There was a contractor before I left Roofer Marketers who was frustrated with their lead flow. And we had a conversation about it, and we looked through their leads, and they said something that stood out to me. When we call them back, they don't answer. When we call them back, they don't answer. Why are you calling them back? Why aren't you at their house? Right? So the biggest challenge facing roofing companies to me is those unconverted leads. Getting those leads set into appointments. And the first thing that you need to be doing is answering your phone. On that initial phone call, you need to be booking an appointment. booking that home visit, booking that inspection, it needs to be on a calendar. The customer needs to feel as if they have that they're on the way to having that problem being solved. So this is where the rubber meets the road, right? I believe that in marketing, you have your marketing coming in, but it's like a relay race with your sales team, right? That there's a handoff of that baton. There's a handoff of that baton, and that baton cannot be dropped. If an appointment is not set on that initial phone call, the baton is dropped. If you say, John will call you back when he has time to tell you when he has time to come to your house and do an inspection, you've already lost. And you wonder why they didn't answer when you called them back. They didn't answer because they called someone else and someone else put them on their calendar. That's the problem, right? So, and I've seen this so many times with so many contractors. I mean, we worked with hundreds of contractors, hundreds of roofing contractors specifically. We listened to every phone call that came through their business. And it drove me crazy of how poorly they set an appointment, how poorly they made, how they treated that lead. Increasing your conversion rate on that appointment set can lead to outrageous amounts of additional revenue in your business. So let's talk about this a little bit. Some statistics on this are leads that go cold, leads that are not followed up within 5 minutes go cold. When I say that, I mean 80% you will have an 80% less chance of ever getting a hold of that person if you're not on the phone with them in 5 minutes. So on that initial phone call, on that initial lead coming in, if they submit a form on your website, if they submit a free roofle quote, a free estimate, if they send you a message on Facebook, whatever it is, if they are not responded to in 5 minutes or less, you have an 80% chance of never getting a hold of that person. Never. Because they have moved on in the process. If they come in, I've seen it through the years, 70+% of lead flow in roofing comes from inbound phone calls. People make a phone call. Even if they click on a Google ad and hit your website, hit your landing page, most of them don't fill out the form. Most of them will call the phone number that's on that page. And so calling that phone number is extremely important, or answering that phone call is extremely important. But if they submit a form, if they send you a message, the average customer must be followed up with, in that case, 5 to 7 times before they will book with you, right? So you have to be constantly following up with them. Text message is very important. So automating this process is very easy with some software that, we have Contractor Boost AI is what we used. And if you're a client of Roofer Marketers and of Job Nimbus Marketing, you can, that's a solution for you. There are other options out there, but what you want is an automated response to these forms so that you can increase the conversion rate on every lead. It will make every lead you generate more valuable. And that's what we really, really want to know. We want to squeeze the juice. And that's where the success comes from. You may have heard this before, but it's the company who can pay the most for a customer will win. The company that can pay the most for a customer will win. And when I say that, it's not that they will, it gives them comfort that they can spend the most on marketing because they know how to convert that into a sale. Like that's what and they know that they'll not only convert it into a sale, but they will get referrals, and they'll knock the neighbors' doors, and they'll pick up a couple of the neighbors, and they'll turn that one into many. So This is now that you know that we have to turn that one into many, we have to track our KPIs, right? We want to track our lead flow. We want to track our appointment set rate. We want to track our conversion rate, no shows on inspections, right? We want to be tracking all the way down the funnel. If you're using software like JobNimbus, there's insights, JobNimbus Insights. Depending on the CRM that you're using, there's a lot of, different options for reporting, but you want to be call tracking. Call tracking is your most important thing from that perspective to understand your KPIs effectively. Like I said, 70% plus people call in. And if you're not tracking those and understanding where those leads are coming from, it's going to be very challenging. As we move into 2025, we've been preaching this. We wrote the book, The Best Known Roofer, in 2021. Having this all-in presence, the companies that have this all-in presence, they're everywhere. They're doing SEO, they're doing Google ads, they're doing LSAs, they're doing social media, they're doing organic social media, they're doing social media advertising. They're knocking doors, their trucks are wrapped, there's signs in the yard, they're sponsoring community events. The marketing stack is extremely high, are the ones that have consistent lead flow and end up with success. In today's market, video is the most important thing. Get on, pull out this amazing thing in your pocket called a phone, point it at yourself and start talking it and delivering that message to your perfect customer, saying things that will trigger their pain points and fears and alleviate their fears, right? Do this on an ongoing basis. It will make an outrageous impact in your business in 2025. Think about this in small chunks if you don't have a lot of these things in place, right? Start with the top 3 things that you're going to do. One of those might be to, clean up our appointment setting process. We got to dial that in. Another may be, we're not tracking anything. That's what I need to be doing first. But understanding it with your goals in mind and how much lead flow you need along the way. So that develops your custom action plan, right, for the year. So I hope this is helpful. I really wanted to get this out to you as we're moving into towards the holiday season, because I know that this is the time of year that most people think about this. If you need anything, drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you agree, disagree. Tell me what your plan is, right? We're getting everything back up and running on our YouTube channel. So go to the Roofing Success YouTube channel. Please subscribe there. Join the Roofing Success Facebook group. We're going to get very active in there over the next few months. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Thank you for tuning into the Roofing Success Podcast. For more valuable content, visit roofingsuccesspodcast.com. While there, check out our sponsors for exclusive offers, shop for merchandise, and sign up for our newsletter for industry updates and tips. Also, join the Roofing Success Facebook group to connect with other professionals and stay updated on the latest trends. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Your support helps us continue to bring you top industry insights. The website link is in the description. Thanks for listening.